So, what is your best diagnosis has been, or what have people told you is your constipation from? I mean, what is the diagnosis they've given you? When they told you've got IBS, or they told you, what exactly have people told you?
I've been told I have pelvic floor dysfunction, but often a lot of times it's, we don't know or we're not sure. It's a lot of I receive a lot of I don't knows. I don't really often like to go to the doctors because that is often always the answer. Am I going to be like this forever? Do we know what's going on, or why is this happening to me? We don't know.
So,
I
what
don't know.
tests have you had for this problem?
I've had a defecography. I've had I think a barium enema. I've had 4 rectal Botox injections, roughly every 6 months. I've had a colonoscopy. I've had a lot of physical exams, but those have led me to let's refer you to somebody else, or let's refer you to so and so, and then so and so refers me to so and so, and it's like a never-ending line of who is going to have an answer for me or some help.
So, long journey. It's been tough. So now you've been here for a few days. Now share with me what has been your experience like. I mean, first tell us what are the tests that you are currently undergoing, and what has been your experience with the tests so far? Pleasant, unpleasant. Describe some of the tests that you've had, and how are you coping with those tests?
I knew coming down here I wasn't going to feel like comfortable just because I can't take any of the medicines I normally take. But it's a small price to pay for maybe some sort of answer or solution or a plan. But I did the breath tests.
On Friday, what was the first test?
Friday I did the smart pill.
Smart pill. So
Smart
tell us
pill.
about that. What was that like?
Well, I felt like I was like wearing a press pass for CNN, like when I was carrying that. But that was I've never done anything like that before.
And what was that test for? What was it going to tell you and me?
Like how everything moves, like my motility, like if my colon's working, if it's low, if my small intestine, etc.
So it was a test of transit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Stomach, small bowel, and
Yep.
colon. Okay. And how did that go?
Fine, I guess.
Okay. Where's your? It's gone.
I don't have it.
You don't
Yeah.
have the pass anymore. Okay. All right. And then you came back. And then what have you done since? What tests have you had?
I had the breath test yesterday.
What was that for?
To see how I break down glucose and
But
fructose.
SIBO, I suppose, right? That was our SIBO
Yes.
test. Okay.
Yes.
And then you had a fructose test
Today.
because of your gas and bloating.
Yes.
And you did that today.
Yes.
Okay. And then what else have you had?
I also had the anorectal manometry, which I've done before.
And tell us about that. So what is that? What was that test like? And
So they insert a balloon in your rectum, and then you bear down, you squeeze. They're basically testing your muscle function and your resting rate, and then they'll insert air into the balloon, and they're basically testing your sensation, like when you feel like you have to use the restroom. And then I also did.
Was it very embarrassing or uncomfortable?
I've had so many tests and so many people with their faces in that area at this point. I don't really care.
But but it wasn't an uncomfortable test or something.
It wasn't comfortable,
painful.
but yeah, it wasn't painful,
Wasn't
but it was fine.
Right.
Yeah.
These are difficult tests anyway, but it wasn't
Yeah.
really hurting in anything.
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. Tolerable. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
What else have you had?
I had the trans lumbar nerve
The TAMS
test.
test.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because your nerve function was probably we were concerned whether the nerve function was affected, and that may be a reason why you're getting constipation. So we did the TAMS test, and then what else have you had?
We did an anorectal ultrasound.
An ultrasound.
Yeah.
And that's because you've had some pain and discomfort, and you've had all these Botox injections.
Yeah.
So we were really trying to figure out whether there is any abscess or any infection or anything else that's going on in the rectal area. So we did that. All right. What else?
I had another test today, the 3D.
3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you remember anything about your exam findings that I described, your rectal exam findings?
My interior
Right. We were
anal
cons-
sphincter.
Right, but we were concerned that you may be having some internal prolapse.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that was one of the things we found. And I think the 3D actually helps us to better understand prolapse.
Okay.
So if I can confirm that, I can show you, we can then use that as part of your treatment when we do biofeedback and so on. So I think one of the goals of these tests, sometimes it looks 3, 4, 5, but each test provides us information about one part and parcel of your bodily function. One test tells us about how you sense stool. One test tells us about your muscle function. Another one tells us about your nerve function. Another one tells us, structurally, is there something working or not working? Another one tells us at what speed things are moving. So each one gives us a different piece of the puzzle. So the ultimate goal is to put all of these puzzles together, and then we can construct a picture of who you are internally, and then use that information to guide us on the right treatment path. And that is why I think you're going through this various tests. So does it make sense?
Yes.